All right, enough of that. Now we're getting into the meat of the episode, which is the quote, the idea, the concept, the saying, one step at a time, or one thing at a time.
On YouTube, it's the Earley Show. What? Tap in on YouTube, it's the Earley Show. Okay. Tap in on YouTube, it's the Earley Show. Right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned in to the Earley Show. I'm your host, Cole Earley. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Been a couple weeks, or been just under 2 weeks since I've uploaded, but some big things have happened. 1, 405 on the squat. 2, 315 on the bench. Deadlift, I didn't have any PRs, but I hit 315 on the bench, and I hit a 405 squat. I got to set some new goals, because goddamn, baby, I got those bitches. So, on the squat, I did use knee sleeves. Never used them before. My buddy had a pair that were too small for him. Swung them my way, and I hit 405. So I'm not a powerlifter. I don't really know anything about knee sleeves and if they're allowed or, but I did hit 405 with knee sleeves, but I did hit 405. And then on the bench, my boy Alex had these smelling salts that crazy. Like, I took a sniff, they're the craziest smelling salts I've ever used. Like, I literally feel it go up in my brain, down my throat, and then, bah, 315. So, regarding the weight room, it's been a good week. What other notes did I have on the weight room? Oh, yeah. Getting stronger is a mindset. I remember over summer, I was like, I want to hit 315 for 10 on the squat. And I progressed, but then since September till December, I had no ambition. Like, I didn't have a want to get stronger in my squat. I didn't have a desire that, I want to hit this. I was just kind of squatting to squat. But it's a mindset shift. I shifted my mindset, like, all right, we're hitting 405. Knee sleeves or not, I squatted that shit. So, yeah. So, a point I have here is, when I hit plateaus, I think it's because I don't have a goal to hit. With my deadlift, I hit 405, and I haven't really been pushing to get it stronger. I just haven't really cared to. Well, not good or bad, but it hasn't been a priority in my training. Whereas a cardio and getting a little leaner has been more of a priority, and I've seen myself get a little leaner. When I go into the gym, it's really, you have to be really goal-orientated, I believe. Like, you really need to, if you want to get your bench press, focus on it. Like, mentally be like, I'm hitting 315. Like, that's the goal. Rather than just I'm benching to bench, So, that's the weight room talk. That's my gym update of the episode. But before we get into the meat of the episode, I'm sitting next to Total War. Before I hit my 405 squat PR and my 315 bench PR, I had 1 scoop of Total War pre-workout. All-in-one formula, intense energy and focused, enhanced pumps and endurance. 310, 320. I think it's 320. I'm going with 320 milligrams of caffeine. It's just tasty, man. When I mean it gets me in the mind space, this gets me in the mind space. And with a name like Total War, bitch, I'm going to war. If I ever go into war, I'm taking 2 scoops of that before I do. Over summer, on the East Coast, they have the little to-go ones. And I drunk one of them on my way to the gym, and I got stuck in traffic. When I mean I was bouncing around the car, like twitching and screaming the lyrics to the music that was playing. Total War is a good time. All right, enough of that. Now we're getting into the meat of the episode, which is the quote, the idea, the concept, the saying, one step at a time, or one thing at a time. So, why this concept has been bouncing in my brain. The other day, I was chopping it up with a friend, Makai, who is an athlete here at Oregon. He's a runner. He got injured last year, yada, yada, yada. But he's involved in real estate, and we were just talking, and we finally kind of got to the topic of real estate. And I was like, okay, like, hey, man, like, what progress have you made in your wholesale deals? Have you sold any of the properties you had under contract? And he says, yeah, man, I really haven't made any progress in that. And I'm like, what? Like, why not? He's like, I haven't had time. I haven't had the mental capacity. I've been doing rehab. I've been trying to graduate. I've been trying to get a job. I just haven't had the room on my plate. And kind of the end of our conversation, we got to the concept, one thing at a time. Or one step at a time. And that was kind of the outcome of our talk. Like, slow down. Just, like, you don't have time to work on the real estate right now. That's fine. You'll get to it, but not right now. So after that conversation, I'm like, of course. So before I get into why I think it's important, two other metaphors that I will use. First of all, I was working at a restaurant in New York called Do Vale. It's in Brooklyn, pizza spot, bring your own alcohol, great spot. If you're in New York, please go check it out. My boss, Giuseppe, I believe he was Italian. When I quit, or when I told him I was leaving, he gave me this metaphor. And he was, imagine this big Italian man saying, before you take your next step, and like, imagine these are my feet, before you take that next step, make sure this step is secure. Make sure you're not going to fall through here. Then when you take that next step, before you put all that weight down, make sure that next step is, you're not going to fall through on the next step. And on the next one, make sure that one's secure and you're not going to fall through that ice, fall through the snow before you take your next one. And in the moment, I'm like, this is just a crazy old Italian dude just talking shit. But years later, now I'm sitting here, it really resonates with me. Before you move on to that next thing, that next topic, that next idea, that next job, whatever it is, like he was saying, like make sure what you have going on right now is solid. That this won't crumble. Because if this crumbles, that next thing that you have coming is bullshit. If what you have right now crumbles, that next thing that you're going to do, the next thing you have set up, that's going to crumble. You won't make it to that next thing if this thing falls. So yet again, it kind of comes back to the idea, one step at a time. Before you do that, get this done right. Get this solid. So my last metaphor, my favorite metaphor, if I'm being real, is the town on fire. If you got a town, it's on fire, it's up in flames, and got all these houses on fire. If you try to put out the whole town at once, you're not going to get anything done. The fire is going to spread. You're not going to have the manpower. You're not going to have the water. But if you take it one house at, put out this fire first, then I'm going to go to this fire, then I'm going to go to this fire, then this fire, and just deal with one problem at a time, one fire at a time, you'll put out the whole town in no time. But if you try to do too much too quick, it's all going to burn, man. So, excuse me, why I think this is important. In my life, let me just review the notes real quick. Okay, first point. In my life, you get more done. My bad. In my life, I get more done when I do one thing at a time. One of my assistant coaches for Special Olympics, she's like, yeah, multitasking is bullshit. Apparently you're 40% less productive when you multitask. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what she told me. But personally, when I look at my daily routine or what I do on a micro scale, let's say we're just talking about homework and assignments. If I got 4 classes and let's just say 4 assignments, sometimes I will sit down and try to do all 4 of them at once. I'll pop from this tab to that tab, back to this tab. Oh no, I got an idea for this. And I'll just sit there for 2 hours and get nothing done. Get 10 minutes of work done maybe. But when I just slow the fuck down, all right, I'm just to do my OBA right now. Okay, cool, got that done. I'm just to do now I'm going to do my management. Oh, cool, got that done. Now I'm going to do my marketing. Cool. And pretty soon in that 2 hours, dude, I knocked it all out. Part of that, in my mind, I compartmentalize. Let me repeat that. Part of that is I find it more productive when I segregate tasks. All right, this is marketing time. This is real estate time. This is the Earley Show time. And just get it again. Coming back to the idea. Doing one thing at a time, one step at a time. Before I can get my management done, I got to do my OBA. Before I get my marketing done, I got to do my management and my OBA. I know that's on a really micro scale, but even expanding it to, let's say, career. Before you get that job, you got to make connections. Before you make connections, you got to figure out what realm, what sector you want to be in. It's really just slowing it down. Secondly, slowing it down. When I take things one step at a time, when I take even events like by the hour, by the, I take tasks, assignments, whatever it is, one step at a time, I slow down. My mind slows down. I'm not thinking about this, that, and the other. I'm thinking about right now. What am I doing right now? It gives me a sense of presence. And after my talk with Makai, I'm like, Cole, you've been trying to do everything. You're living so fast. And really, you're not getting shit done. Just slow down. My last point that I want to talk about or just kind of briefly touch on is when I take things one step at a time, it's no longer overwhelming. It's no longer this pile of things I need to do. It's one thing I need to do. When this thing's done, throw it away. Take the next thing. This thing's done, throw it away. Take the next thing. And pretty soon, that stack of shit that you got to do is gone. I don't know. So really, if you take one thing from this episode, I want you to hear me saying, take it one step at a time. Do one thing at a time. I know when I get reminded that, when I see that line, when I hear somebody say it, I'm always like, Cole, like, just, what do you need to do right now? Like, what's the one thing, like, if I'm cleaning my room, bitch, just clean your room. You can't clean your room and worry about anything. You can worry about the homework or the test you have, but cleaning your room isn't going to study for the test. So if you want to study for the test, go study for the test. Don't clean your room. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got tonight. Tonight? Yeah, it is tonight. That's all I got tonight. If you take one thing, I'm going to say it like 8 more times. Take it one step at a time. Do one thing at a time. I've noticed in my life, it slows me down, makes me more present, makes life less overwhelming. Yeah, and you get more done. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Earley Show. I'm your host, Cole Earley.